Hi guys, welcome to the first episode of Evolution of Animals. Today we are talking about the legendary and peaceful genus elephant. 1. Erytherium. Time period: Paleocene, approximately 60 million years ago. Description: Erytherium was a rabbit-sized mammal that stood about 4 feet high at the shoulder. It represents one of the earliest known relatives of modern elephants. Although fragmentary, its teeth provide valuable insights into the early stages of proboscidea evolution. Erytherium likely had a short, flexible proboscis and inhabited marshy regions, feeding on soft, semi-aquatic vegetation. 2. Proboscidea. Time period: Late Paleocene to Eocene, approximately 56 million years ago. Description: Proboscidea was a small, squat herbivore that resembled a pygmy hippopotamus. It stood about 30 centimeters tall at the shoulder. Unlike later proboscideans, it lacked a trunk but possessed more than one type of tooth morphology, suggesting it may have been omnivorous. Proboscidea's fossils come from North Africa and provide crucial information about early elephant evolution. 3. Merytherium. Time period: Eocene, 3.735 million years ago. Description: Merytherium, about the size of a tapir, represents an early stage in elephant evolution. It had short, strong legs, a relatively long body, and a short tail. While it lacked the iconic elephant trunk, it might have but a short, flexible proboscis similar to tapirs. Merytherium's teeth resembled small tusks and were an intermediate stage in the development of elephant tusks. 4. Pneumatotherium. Time period: Middle Eocene, approximately 46 million years ago. Description: Pneumatotherium, discovered in Algeria, stood about 90 to 100 centimeters tall at the shoulder and weighed around 250 to 300 kilograms. It resembled a modern tapir in appearance, with a short trunk and long legs. As one of the earliest proboscideans, Pneumatotherium had air-filled bones in its skull, providing a larger attachment point for neck muscles. It was significantly larger than its predecessors Proboscidea and Erytherium. 5. Erchinotherium. Time period: Late Eocene. Description: Erchinotherium, previously considered a species of Pneumatotherium, is now recognized as a distinct genus. It was named for material found in late Eocene deposits in Libya. Erchinotherium shares similarities with Pneumatotherium but has its own unique features. 6. Gamphotherium. Time period: Miocene. Description: Gamphotherium, a more advanced proboscidean, had elongated tusks pointing downward. It inhabited various continents and played a crucial role in the evolutionary lineage leading to modern elephants. 7. Mastodons. Description: Mastodons, Mammoths, were large, elephant-like proboscideans that roamed North America during the late Miocene to the early Pleistocene. Unlike modern elephants, mastodons had elongated, flattened lower tusks that curved back from the lower jaw. They were primarily browsers, feeding on leaves and vegetation. The American mastodon, Mammoths, is a well-known species that lived in North America. 8. Platybudens. Description: Platybudin, inhabited Africa and Eurasia during the late Miocene, approximately 10 million years ago. They had distinctive, flat, shovel-shaped tusks on their lower jaws. These tusks were used for various purposes, including stripping bark from trees. Platybudins likely fed in swampy areas and flooded plains. 9. Mammoths. Description: Mammoths were close relatives of Platybudins. They also had flattened lower tusks, but their fused silverware was more advanced. Mammoths lived in late Miocene Africa and Eurasia, approximately 9 million years ago. They became extinct around 6 million years ago. These proboscideans were versatile browsers, feeding on both wet and dry vegetation. 10. Dinotherium. Description: Dinotherium was an elephant-like proboscidean that lived from the middle Miocene until the early Pleistocene. Unlike modern elephants, Dinotherium had a notably more flexible neck and limbs adapted for a cursorial lifestyle. Its most distinctive feature was its downward curving tusks, which grew from the lower jaw. Dinotherium was widespread, ranging from East Africa to southern Europe and the Indian subcontinent. It likely went extinct due to environmental changes, transitioning from forests to open grasslands. 11. Mammoths. Time period: Pleistocene. Description: Mammoths, including woolly mammoths, Columbian mammoths, steppe mammoths, and imperial mammoths, were large, shaggy relatives of elephants. They adapted to cold climates and had long, curved tusks. Woolly mammoths, in particular, roamed the icy tundras of the northern hemisphere. 12. Paleoxodon. Time period: Pleistocene. Description: Paleoxodon include species like Paleoxodon redsi, Paleoxodon entex, and Paleoxodon ammoticus. These large elephants inhabited different regions and had distinctive features. For example, Paleodopsidinomodicus was one of the largest land mammals ever, with massive tusks. 13. Asian elephants. Description. Asian elephants, Lepus maximus, are the closest living relatives of mammoths. They have smaller ears than African elephants and are adapted to forested habitats. Asian elephants are currently endangered due to habitat loss and poaching. 14. African bush elephant and African forest elephant. Description. These are the two extant species of African elephants. African bush elephants are the larger of the two and inhabit savannahs, while African forest elephants are smaller and live in dense rainforests. But before you go, let's explore the fascinating evolutionary history of these ancient elephant relatives, Enix, Stegodon, Stegotrobloton, and Primelephas. We will also talk about the biggest elephant in the world. Enix. Description. Enix, meaning first elephant, is an extinct genus of primitive elephantids. It existed during the Miocene and Pliocene epochs. These early elephantids are considered the common ancestor of modern elephants, both African and Asian, and the closely related genera Lepus and Loxodonta. Features. Tusks. Enix had 4 tusks, a trait not shared with its descendants but common in earlier Proboscideans. Primitive traits. It retained permanent premolar teeth, had an elongated mandibular symphysis, and large lower tusks, features shared with its confederate ancestors. Size. An estimate suggests that an Enix species reached shoulder heights of around 2.5-6 meters, 8 ft 2 in, -8 ft 6 in, with a body mass comparable to living African elephants. Distribution. Fossils of Enix have been found primarily in Africa, including Chad, Tanzania, Kenya, Ethiopia, and Uganda. Evolution. Enix likely evolved from Tetralopodon or a Tetralopodon-like ancestor. The oldest known species, A. praensis, dates back to the late Miocene in the Siwalik Hills of Pakistan. Stegodon. Description. Stegodon, meaning hoofed tooth, is an extinct genus of primitive elephantids. It existed from the late Miocene to the late Pleistocene. Stegodon is related to elephants and was originally assigned to the family Elephantidae. However, it is now placed in the extinct family Stegodontidae. Features. Tusks. Stegodon had large tusks, both upper and lower. The lower tusks were the longest known among proboscideans. Primitive traits. Like Stegodon for their ancestors, Stegodon retained permanent premolars and had an elongated mandibular symphysis. Size. Some species of Stegodon were amongst the largest proboscideans, with shoulder heights exceeding 3.8 meters, 12.5 ft, and weights up to 12.7 tons. Distribution. Stegodon fossils have been found in Asia, Africa, and North America. Evolution. Stegodon likely evolved from more archaic forms like Stegolepodon. It migrated from Asia to Africa, where it eventually became extinct during the Pliocene. Stegotrobloton. Description. Stegotrobloton is an extinct genus of primitive elephantids that lived during the late Miocene to early Pliocene. It was found in Africa, the Arabian Peninsula, and Italy. Features. Tusks. Stegotrobloton had long tusks, both upper and lower. The lower tusks were the longest known among proboscideans. Primitive traits. It retained permanent premolars and shared features with its confederate ancestors. Size. Estimates suggest that S. Saarticus reached 4 meters, 13.1 ft, in shoulder height and weighed around 11 to 12 tons. Distribution. Fossils of Stegotrobloton have been found in Africa, including Libya and modern-day Chad, Tanzania, Kenya, Ethiopia, and Uganda. Evolution. Stegotrobloton likely evolved from Stegolepodon or a similar ancestor for Primelephas. Description. Primelephas, meaning first elephant, existed during the Miocene and Pliocene epochs. It is considered the common ancestor of modern elephants, both African and Asian, and closely related genera Lepus and Loxodonta. Features. Tusks. Primelephas had 2 strong tusks, similar to Asian elephants today. Evolution. It diverged from its ancestors around 4 to 6 million years ago. Distribution. Fossils of Primelephas have been found in Africa, including Chad, Tanzania, Kenya, Ethiopia, and Uganda.